water. I got water. Audie's got smoke. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Hey, it's episode 42 of the Political Spotlight. I'm your host, Christopher Bilbrey. Welcome. Because I noticed we had a comment from someone who gave a little bit of criticism the other night. I think I'm going to start doing this right off the bat before we break into anything else. I want to say, of course, for all of you that are here, do the thing, like, subscribe, share the show with everyone you know. But the episode tonight, we're going to be talking about basically, specifically Muncie-related items. We're going to have Audie Barber on with us in just a moment. We're going to be talking about the Muncie City Council meeting tomorrow. Tomorrow will be Monday, October 2nd, 2023. Of course, that's the first Monday of the month of October. There's no holidays or anything, so therefore we will be meeting at Muncie City Hall. The agenda for tomorrow's meeting is below. It's kind of hard to see, so we will go through it in just a little bit when we get Audie on, but we will go through this. The meeting starts at 7 p.m. However, there is a public hearing that will start at 6:45. And generally, I say these public hearings are wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Nothing happens, and that's it. However, I am going to appear tomorrow at the public hearing, and I'm going to speak during the public hearing, and I highly suggest that other citizens of Muncie consider showing up at the public hearing and speaking at the public hearing as well, and then speaking again during the meeting. But we're going to go through all of that. We're going to talk about what's going to be taking place at the meeting tomorrow. That's going to be the first part of the show. And then the rest of the show, we're going to be talking about one specific issue that's going to be brought up during tomorrow's meeting. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Resolution 17-23, authorizing the entry by the City of Muncie, Indiana, into a BOT, Build, Operate, Transfer Agreement, and related documents, and taking certain other actions related thereto. We're going to be talking about what this means, why it's good, why it's bad, why we should probably hold off on it. We're going to be talking about all of that. Of course, Audie's going to be on as our guest, and he's going to be talking about this as well. And I'm going to give you my commentary on this, and we're going to talk about this for a while. And then this will make up the majority of what I think tomorrow's council meeting is going to be about, the big item on tomorrow's agenda at the council meeting. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and bring Audie Barber on. Hello, Audie.
Good evening, everybody.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
All right.
I'm feeling a lot better. I've been under the weather a little bit for the last week or so, but I'm feeling good now. Tomorrow's council meeting.
That's good. Yeah, tomorrow is council meeting. Tomorrow's meeting, again, the regular meeting starts at 7 p.m. However, the public agenda, the public hearing, starts at 6:45. And generally during the public hearings, they basically call those to order. Nobody gets up and talks about them, and then they're basically done. So it's just a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am type of a deal.
There'll be a lot to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah, there will be a lot to talk about tomorrow. So here's the agenda, and we'll go through the agenda here in a moment. But before we get there,
what's up, Joey?
I want to go over what the public hearing is. And Kate, can you click on that public hearing, that number 2 overlay?
Well, if you notice, they've, like you said, they've extended it from 6:45 to 6 o'clock. So
What?
the public meeting's usually at 6:45, right?
Yeah.
But it starts at 6 tomorrow. So
Wait a minute. I didn't know that.
I thought it did. They got, oh, maybe they're talking about the something at 6 o'clock, right? The fire stations.
Hold on. Can you take that thing down real quick? I guess I didn't see that. No, the public hearing is still at 6:45.
Okay.
Okay, so that confused me. Okay, sorry. All right, sorry about that. Okay. So the notice of public hearing says notice of public hearing, Common Council, Muncie, Indiana, Firehouse Project. This says pursuant to Indiana Code 52359, notice is hereby given that the Common Council, the Council for the City of Muncie, Indiana, will hold a public hearing on October 2nd, 2023 at 6:45 p.m. at the council chambers located on the first floor of City Hall Auditorium, 300 North High Street, Muncie, Indiana, concerning the recommendation to award a public-private agreement for the construction, development, operation, and transfer of Firehouse Project in accordance with Indiana Code 523, the BOT statute. Pursuant to the BOT statute, the city issued a request for proposal and qualifications for the construction, development, operation, and transfer of the project. After review and analysis for proposals received, a recommendation has been made to the council to award the public-private agreement to GM Development Companies, LLC, of Springport, Indiana. Copies of the proposal and a written explanation of the basis upon which the recommendation is being made are with the council and are available for public inspection and copying at City Hall, 300 North High Street, Indiana. Appointment made by calling Shireen Wegley, blah, blah, blah. The public is invited to comment on any of the matters herein noted, and all taxpayers, residents, or interested parties who appear will be given reasonable opportunity to express their views on the said recommendation. So that is the notice of the public hearing that has been posted, and everything's been done in accordance with law. So what they're going to be talking about in that public hearing, the council will not talk. That will be the time that the citizens and anybody who is in favor, who is against, who has questions or concerns can get up and talk about the following ordinance. And that ordinance is it's not an ordinance. No. I want to, wrong. It's not an ordinance. It is it's a resolution. The difference between a resolution and an ordinance is an ordinance takes two. An ordinance takes two readings, an introduction, and then a passage. So it technically could take 2 months. A resolution only requires one vote. So when the council votes on this tomorrow, that'll be said and done. They'll vote on it and it'll be over. So that's something that we need to understand. When the council votes on this tomorrow, that's it. That's all there is to it. That's all she wrote. There's nothing more. And people need to understand, kind of that's what's going on. And so it's kind of a big deal. It's a
very big deal.
Yeah. So
because that's not doing anything the right way. First of all, on projects like this, they need to get competitive bids, Chris. It's just that simple.
Yeah, no question. No question. I mean,
they need 2-3 bids, and they can't just hand it over to Aaron Clark's cousin to build them.
Right.
You're looking at $9 million for a fire station. $9 million. They just built one down on Mount Comfort Road for McCordsville Fire Department. They spent $6.7 million on it. And it's got 10 independent sleeping quarters. It's got state-of-the-art kitchen. It's got its own recreation area. It's got every 2 bedrooms have a bathroom. So it's really state-of-the-art. And they only spent $6.7 million compared to $9 million. And I was told tonight, that the plans that they're using for this bot thing for them to try to come in and get this passed is the same plans that they used at the McCordville Fire Department. So that's a problem. That leaves, $2.3 million that somebody can shift this way or shift that way or shift to this person or that person. And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
So this resolution says authorizing the entry by the City of Muncie, Indiana into a bot. Now, the bot agreement process was voted on by the council back in July of 2020. And I stood before the council and argued against it. I said they should not do this. This is not something that the City of Muncie should agree to. That I felt that this was a way for the mayor at that point to go kind of run around the council, and that he ran on slowing things down and taking the proper procedures. And I want to say for the argument, for everyone to know, first and foremost, there's nothing illegal about this. There's nothing illegal. They voted on this. This is perfectly legal. Everything is good. There's a difference between being legal and good and being what the citizens deserve and what this mayor ran on. There's an old saying that lawyers use, specifically in law school, and it's something that I say, and I've said to this council a lot, and I will be saying it again tomorrow, specifically as it relates to the whole conflict of interest or appearance of impropriety dealing with the relationship between a councilman and his cousin. And that is, the law is the floor, not the ceiling. It's where you start. It's not the ending point. The law is the floor. So it's not where you stop. You can always go up to the ceiling, and it's what the people of Muncie feel that it's like, well, it's legal. I mean, like it's legal for me to do this crap, but if it's not liked, if the people of Muncie don't approve of it, if they would rather this not happen this way, then the officials of Muncie need to consider that. And that's something that's very, very important. The other thing here is I have heard from council members that apparently either Aaron Clark or someone has requested the city council attorney look into any kind of wrongdoing between Aaron Clark and his cousin, and to see if there's any kind of conflict of interest or anything there. And the council attorney, who I trust fully and who I believe and I understand him to be very competent as an attorney, and I believe everything that he says, he has said there is absolutely no conflict of interest between Aaron Clark and this cousin, because the cousin does not live in Aaron Clark's house. Aaron Clark does not pay his bills. He does not pay Aaron Clark's bills. It's not like it would be a conflict of interest if they were
but
husband and wife.
They'll tell you that a conflict of interest if my grandparents are involved in something. When you're filling out the economic development, the economic conflict of interest crap, I mean, they're going to aunts, uncles, grandparents. So why is a cousin different?
Well,
it's still,
unless it's a kissing cousin.
No, yeah, no. I mean,
it's still the appearance of impropriety.
Well, that's what I'm getting to.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Out of it.
yeah, it's not so I mean that's what I'm kind of drawing that line for the citizens. I want to be very clear because I don't want anybody to get up there and say that this is a conflict of interest. It is not a conflict of interest. If we're going to argue this, we have to argue this properly. So this is not a conflict of interest and I believe what the council attorney said in there. He has told all of the council members there is not a conflict of interest here.
But it crosses the line of being ethical.
Well, no, stop. That's what I'm trying to say. It does not. It would cross the line of being ethical if there was a conflict of interest. However, this administration and this council ran on removing. It's not illegal. I don't even think it's not ethical. But what I'm saying is, you have the appearance of impropriety.
It looks shady.
It looks shady. You have the appearance of impropriety. So here's where the issue is. You have the appearance of impropriety. This administration, the mayor specifically, ran on removing even the appearance of impropriety. The council, Aaron Clark included, he interviewed with me 4 years ago. He said that they wanted to do everything to make corruption go away and to remove even the appearance of impropriety.
Exactly.
So why would you do this? Why would you put yourself in a position where, yes, it's technically legal, but it makes people feel icky and yucky?
Right. And that goes back to if you just bid it out, get the 3 competitive bids on them and use the bid process.
Right.
And the council messed up when they put this bot order in. They need to go back and can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay. They need to go back and take that out.
Yes.
That needs to come out. They need to remove that. They need to, what word am I looking for?
Rescind.
Rescind, exactly. They need to rescind that. That gives the mayor too much leeway to allow somebody's cousin to come in and do the job, whether it's ethical or not, or whether it's conflict or not. It's putting too much what it looks like. It looks like it's
just questionable.
It's questionable. But here's the thing, Chris. This GM, what was the name of the company?
GM
Development. They're the same people that wanted to do the solar farm down here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you know as well as I know, you've got a tape somewhere where after this solar project failed, that you was threatened by this GM guy's wife.
Okay, that's when we were talking about this, I want to clarify that too. It's not the wife of the cousin. It was the dark hair guy. It was the wife of the dark hair guy. It was the partner, but it's still the same to me. So basically,
your life was still threatened.
Yeah, I want to say this because I was very outspoken against the solar panel project. I wasn't against solar panels or a solar field going to the GM brownfield. I was against the mayor buying the property before the council knew. I was against the mayor lining all this crap up before anyone had a chance to know or agree. I was against the mayor telling these guys that it was a done deal before the council ever voted. I was against all of that. I wanted it to go through the proper vetting procedure like it all should. And we were very outspoken against this. You were outspoken against the solar project. A lot of people were.
And when the mayor first brought it up, he told us that the power would go to the city, and that would cut the utility bills of the city of Muncie, and which we found out it didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. There were lots of questions. The math never lined up. We were told 2 or 3 different things that were going to happen financially, and it just never matched up. It was always going to cost way too much. And so the night of the meeting, there was someone who was commenting in the comment section of the Muncie City Council on the Muncie City City Facebook page, and they were commenting really smart ass like responses to people anytime someone spoke. And I got up to speak, and this person was just going and saying that, you know, I was speaking against people being able to feed their children, and it just didn't make any sense. And I had received a phone call the day before from someone who they had texted me and asked me if I would be willing to report on the truth, whatever the truth was. And I was like, sure, yeah, I would, call me. And they never would call me. Well, that number started texting me while we were sitting in the meeting, and they kept trying to call me. And I said, hey, I'm in a meeting. Let me call you as soon as this is over. And they told me it would be too late then. And I was like, well, who is this? What's going on? Well, I noticed that they text me something that seemed very similar to the line that this woman had made in the comments. So I text back and said, hey, are you, forget what her name is, but I said, hey, are you this person? And she didn't respond. Well, the council took a break, and I stepped out to you were standing outside smoking. Yes. And I came up to you and got your phone and started using your phone to record her conversation with me.
Correct.
And she was telling me that what we were doing was wrong, that they wouldn't be able to pay their house payment if this didn't go through, that this was their final straw, that the mayor told them that this was going to be done, that they had been waiting months to get paid. And it just seemed I'll tell you what it seemed like to me. It seemed like somebody waiting on a dope deal. It seemed like somebody that was mad that they'd been waiting for 2 hours for the dope man to arrive, and the dope man wasn't going to show up, or the dope man said, all right, you owe me $500 more for what I'm bringing. And they were like, no, I mean, she was telling me how their life was over. She sounded, from my past training and experience as a law enforcement officer, without knowing her, she sounded like she was slurring her words. She sounded heavily intoxicated. That's just what it sounded like. Maybe she wasn't. I don't know. But she told me that I was pathetic for doing what I was doing, and that, I had basically ended her and her kids' lives by arguing against this. And I told her, I said, no, the mayor did this. The mayor, by promising you guys something that wasn't going to happen. And then at one point in the phone call, in the text message, she did make the comment that me doing what I was doing ran me afoul of a lot of people, and that it would be bad if something happened to me. That, something, she hoped and prayed that I was in a situation where, my life would be, my life would basically be over because I was speaking out against this. And I kind of laughed at her, and I was like, look, I hate this for you. And by the end of the phone call, I will say, by the end of the phone call, she was apologetic. She was telling me that she was sorry for saying that. She didn't mean to say that. And I'll be honest, she seemed like somebody whose husband had been promising her, hey, we're going to get paid. We're just a little bit closer. We're just a little bit closer. And this was like their last, the last deal. But the problem that I have is this is the type of people that Ridenour is getting into bed with. That just again shows me that, look, these people aren't stable. This was not a good thing.
And had she been right in front of you, if she'd have been right in front of you with a gun, she would have pulled the trigger.
Yeah, I guess.
And then 30, 40 minutes later, she would have been sorry for it, but yet, she had already committed the crime. So
yeah, it was just really strange. And then now to find out that here we are, a year and a half later, getting into bed with these same people is really just questionable to me. I just don't understand.
Like I was saying on this, I think the council needs to table this. This needs to be tabled till the next meeting, until after the elections, because if a different mayor gets in there, then this mayor is going to be strapped. This mayor is strapping the next administration to this.
That's the biggest problem.
The thing about it is $9 million for one fire station. You've got 7 fire stations in the city of Muncie. They're all strategically located, so you got to have them where they're at.
Right.
Because of the train tracks and this and that and everything else. And we all know that. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't want to see any fire stations closed. But that $9 million for one fire station would go a long ways of revamping the fire stations we have now and getting the mold, because the problem is the mold in these fire stations. We're going to tear these fire stations down that were built in the 1960s.
Right.
We're going to tear them down. They're block buildings. We're going to tear them down and we're going to put up new block buildings. There's no different. The only difference is we've got to get the moisture out of these fire stations to where it don't mold. So that's when you do a thorough house cleaning. You go through, if I got mold and water in my basement and I don't have the money to tear my house down and build a new house, I've got to go in and fix the problem. Same way with these fire stations. We can go in for that kind of money, the $18 million they're talking about. We can do a lot of revamping to all 7 of these fire stations. We can go in and get it professionally cleaned. They can come in and put the epoxy on the floor to keep the mold out, to keep the moisture from coming up through the concrete. Put the epoxy on the walls to keep the water from seeping through the block walls, because that's, you're going to tear these buildings down.
Look, but here's the thing though. I'm not even against tearing the buildings down and possibly rebuilding, a complete rebuild of a fire station.
And I'm not either.
I'm just saying, like you and I were talking the other day, look, bottom line, Dan Ridenour, as a council member, was sitting on the council in October of 2019 when the last administration was bringing fire-based EMS before the council. And correct. One of Ridenour's complaints was that they were doing this so close to the election that this should be waiting until the next administration was in.
That is correct. And he pushed that a lot. He pushed that on everything that came up from October, November, and December. He pushed that real hard. Hold up. Let's wait for the new administration.
Why we are now pushing this when we are, I think I calculated the days up already. Okay, so it's October 1st, which means we're 9 days until voter registration ends. If you're not registered to vote, get registered to vote, indianavoters.com.
Hit me up. It'll take about 2 minutes to do it.
Yeah, it's real quick. But beyond that, we are only 37 days away from the election. We're only 37 days from the election. Here's the deal. On November 7th, if Ridenour is reelected to a second term, call a special meeting.
No. Allow the new council.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm saying if this is such a big deal, I guess it depends on how the council goes. If Ridenour is reelected and the council is going to be a Ridenour favorable council, then do whatever you want to do. There's no point in doing it now. I could see waiting until November or December to do this. But if you're waiting till November, December, just go ahead and wait one more month.
The thing
and
about
let
it is,
everybody new do it in January.
The city council meeting's the 6th of November.
Okay.
So election day is November 7th.
7th. Mm-hmm.
So that means he has to wait another 40, 48, 49, 62 days or something. It's not that big of a deal. It's not going to affect the new construction on these fire stations if that's the way they go with it.
Yeah.
We're only going to push it out 2 months at the most.
Right.
So, wait till December to do something. And if you got a council that's not favorable to you, hell, by then maybe one of these council members on the council now will put in a resolution to revoke the bot.
I definitely think that's true for any council member that is listening to this. I know that there's a big deal between having the fire department support, and listen, I'm very supportive of the fire department. First of all, I want to know what the hell's going on with the fire department. Is the fire chief gone? Is the fire chief not gone? The fire chief sent out an email. I have the email that the fire chief sent to his guy stating that he's retired. The city of Muncie refuses to make a statement on this. I think they need to be very clear on what's going on. Who is currently leading the fire department? The fire department right now is marred in controversy, however you want to say that. There's all kinds of controversy surrounding the fire department. Cheating allegations. There's allegations of how the first fire department EMS chief was treated and her separation out, how the treatment received. I believe that's resulting in all kinds of maybe EEOC complaints and or lawsuits that the city of Muncie is involved with. That's going on now. You've got this cheating scandal.
Chris, under state statute, with the cheating scandal that's going on, I feel that the Muncie Fire Department was obligated to do an investigation. Well, if you notice on the news reports and stuff, they asked the chief about the investigation, and the chief never would tell them about the in-house investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that may be having something to do with maybe part of the reason why he may be retiring, because they didn't do their job.
Sure. And I know what the administration is going to run against. The administration's because I've already seen a couple people who in the past have always been friendly and favorable to me. They're like, "Oh, this is disgusting that you would be talking about this." Look, I understand that the fire chief has some very intensely personal, sad, and disturbing situations in his personal life. I understand it's a horrible situation. The loss of a child is never a good deal. How it happens, whatever goes on, it's never a good situation.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it sucks for them. I'm praying for him, his family, everyone involved.
But
there's still a whole lot of business to take care of.
Exactly.
And so at the end of the day, I think that this administration needs to be upfront and honest with what's going on there. Who's leading the fire department right now? What's going on there? And this is a big deal because they're talking about saddling the citizens with possibly $9 million for one fire station, $18 million for two. Of course, that same $18 million figure was exactly what GM Development wanted for the solar panels. So that's kind of a weird situation.
Now, number 5 fire station. I understand that. We need to get with Ball State, have them give us some of that property there, add another bay on for the ambulance. That way they can park the aerial back inside 5's fire station, because that's basically for Ball State anyhow. And just add another bay on for the ambulance.
Yeah.
I mean, and then go through and revamp it. I love the firemen. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I was not supported by the union, but I told them that the lit tax would be one of the last things I would want to raise. Any taxes would be the last thing I'd want to raise. And they got a little bit butthurt by that, and so I didn't get their endorsement.
Right.
Does not mean that the firemen themselves don't endorse me. It just means that Chafin does not.
The one or two, yeah.
So there's ways around that. And did Dan got endorsed by these folks? There's both Democrats and Republicans that got endorsed by the union. Here's the thing. Does that endorsement give them the ability to assume that they're going to get new fire stations now?
Right.
Is it a payoff?
Right.
Same way with Dan. Dan gave some money to those girls to take their dogs overseas.
Yeah.
Guess what? There's a sign up at that business now for Dan Ridenour.
Yeah, I really can't believe how many businesses around the city of Muncie I've seen that has had signs of a lot of different people. I've seen like I've seen major chain businesses with political candidate signs in the front yards. I've never seen that ever before. That's really odd to me.
Now on Madison Street, they had a sign. Remember I asked you about your aunt living down a couple doors from the Stag Bar?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had a sign up there. They had a monster sign, Dan Ridenour sign up there.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday morning, they came in and took it down.
That's interesting.
They put another one up on Madison Street. I don't know exactly where. And it was at another business. And my wife called me this morning. She says they're taking another one of his signs down. Somebody's over there taking his sign down right now.
Well, go ahead.
Now, tonight, I seen a sign. You know where Sherry Labs used to be, right on the corner of, right by Taco Bell?
Yep.
Dan Ridenour has a sign right on the property line between the flower shop and the Sherry Labs building. Well, the Sherry Labs building property is now owned by Taco Bell. And I don't see Taco Bell giving him permission to put that sign there. And I don't see the flower shop giving him permission to put that sign up there. But it's right on the property line. It's one of them tactics. Well, maybe the neighbor said it was okay, so it's right on the property line. And the other neighbor thinks, well, maybe that neighbor said it was okay, so it's up there.
Yeah, right.
I know a candidate doing that.
Right. While we're talking about political signs, I want to show you this. I want to show everybody this real quick. I noticed this past, I guess this was yesterday or maybe the day before. Let me put this up here.
I'll have my big signs ready this week. I'm going to be putting out. So if anybody's got a good location on the main thoroughfare, give me a call, 744-0013, and I'll be more than happy to put it up in your yard if you'd let me.
Yeah.
But I need to put those on main thoroughfares. I've got one place I'm going to check tomorrow or Tuesday to see if it's going to be all right to put my sign up on their property because it's a business.
Yeah. This is a post of a Ridenour sign, local.
Can you blow it up?
Politico. No, I can't. I'll just read it to you. Okay. I can't blow it up any more than that.
That's fine.
Local Politico Kat Carey says, Facebook fam, just know I am burning mad. If you have this sign in your yard and you did not give permission for it to be placed in your yard, give me a call. This sign showed up in one of my disabled voters' yards without his permission. Wow. He thought I placed the sign in the yard. Please know I will never place a sign in someone's yard without permission. This behavior is being committed in industrial neighborhood. Please call me if this has happened to you. Thank you. And this was a Ridenour sign, reelect Ridenour, Muncie Mayor. And this is something that happens every year by both sides. I honestly have not heard this from a whole lot of people this year. This is the first time. I have heard this year, and I have all of a sudden heard it happening to lots of Ridenour signs. For some reason, they're going up.
Hey, Kate, can you put Ryan Webb's comment back up? I didn't get to read it real fast.
I've heard there are Republicans openly supporting Democrats, Audie. Maybe you can ask one of those folks if you can put a sign up. LOL.
Oh, I guarantee it. I'll put
yeah, hell yeah, you can put a sign up anywhere. Yeah. Some people put everybody's up. Some people put up whoever asks, whatever, Yeah, I feel like knocking on anybody's door. You
go to the Cheese Box edition over off Granville, and about every yard down through there has an Andrew Pop and a Jerry sign in your yards.
That's comical.
So, it's at District 5, it's heating up. I seen a picture the other day of somebody taking a guy's sign out of the yard.
You're an idiot.
But
yeah, so I think that's interesting. But real quick, I do want to say again, reference the because I want to get back to Ryan's point here in a minute about lit. But as far as the public hearing tomorrow, citizens, if you are not in favor, listen, I'm not saying this is not a question of being for or against firemen or being for or against firehouses being built. It's just a matter of we are 37 days out from an election.
Yes.
We're just 3 months out from a new administration and a new council being in office. And when I say new, I mean either the Ridenour administration still being in there for a new term and a new council being in, or a new mayor altogether being in there with a new council. Either way we go, there are going to be at least a couple new council members, at least three new council members.
Right.
So that's just how it's going to be.
And that could mean a lot. That's going to mean a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, yeah. So with that being said, this current mayor and this current council should not be pushing major changes on the city that won't be taking place until next year. Anything that's not going to get started until next year should be held off, and we should just go from there. Also,
it could also be another one of them things that he's going to start another project, like somebody said a while ago. Got a lot of projects started that's half finished. Well, half of them ain't even half finished, and they're just sitting there in the driveway, you know. So we've got a lot of projects that need to be buttoned up before we move on with new ones. We've got the till pond we got to work on. There's so many of them.
I want to know what the hell. I want an honest to God answer of what's going on at Southway Plaza. I want someone to say what is going on there.
I heard, now take it for a grain of salt or whatever, they're still waiting on the HVAC. But you know what? I heard the mayor said he's going to wash his hands with it and move on, because they're not doing what they're supposed to do. Now, whether that be true or not.
Who's not doing what they're supposed to do?
Whoever's owning the property, and that's another thing, Chris. We were told that was bought by Red Brick out of Washington State.
Yeah.
Red Brick does not own that according, what's this, Troy? It's terrible, people.
Oh, he's talking about, go on.
Red Brick does not own that building.
Yeah. Well, I've called them. I've placed 3 phone calls to Red Brick Systems in Washington during their business hours, meaning I've waited for the time delay, and I've called them when they have been open, and no one did that.
I bet they don't even. I bet they've never heard of Muncie, Indiana, Southway Plaza.
No one's called me back. No one has called me back. I don't know what's going on.
Chris, that building is owned by a company out of New Jersey. And from the research that I have done through Beacon, the company that owned it before them was 1340 East 9th Street LLC or something, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they transferred it to Top Key LLC. Come to find out, they have the same address.
Yeah.
So it's about like this project down here at the end of Memorial Street.
Yeah.
Where they had several companies that had the same address.
Right.
The problem with that is when they came in and asked for the tax abatement that was awarded to them, that they had just transferred the property out of one of their company to one of their other companies and used the same address. And so that's kind of under false pretenses that they've done that.
Yeah.
So, that's why I say, if you are on the council, you need to look into this shady shit and find out what is going on before we go in there and vote and give them a tax abatement because they've owned the property already for 5 years and they transfer it to another one of their companies, turn around and give them another tax abatement or give them a tax abatement because they say they're new property owners and they're going to buy it if we can give them the tax abatement.
Yeah.
That's shady.
Yeah.
And for our administration and for our council right now, not to be checking on that stuff. It's real simple. Go to Beacon. It takes 5 minutes to go on there and previous owner and new owner. Check out their addresses. And if they correspond like they do, don't give them the tax abatement. They've already owned the property.
Yeah, something is really, really hinky with what's going on there.
And that's when it goes back to people not doing their due diligence.
I think the Ridenour administration has literally been saying for a year, we're waiting on the HVAC. I think in this time, somebody could have went to school, could have went through the process of becoming certified in HVAC systems and went and put the damn thing in the amount of time Ridenour has been saying, well, we're waiting on someone to get out there. Call, who is it? Benjamin Franklin?
Plumbing?
oh, I don't know. Yeah, hell, I don't know. Call them up. Maybe they
local
can
guys
do it.
here. We can do it.
Yeah, right. Well,
There's local heating and air conditioning companies here in Muncie that have been doing the business for 60 years.
Maybe if we get lucky, Ridenour can be the first mayor to hire in a total heating and air system people for the city of Muncie,
right, in-house,
and we can get hold on here, I'm going to pull that up here.
The building commissioner's office, they're inspectors and stuff.
Look here, hold on,
let them be our HVAC people to install it.
Well, no, I'm talking about this because he released this ad earlier this week.
Yeah,
says Dan Ridenour is investing in Muncie's infrastructure.
Yeah.
Dan hired the city's first in-house road crew and in-house city engineer to help Muncie pave 82% more road per year. I talked to the guys at the street department. They said Ridenour's hired like one guy.
Yeah.
Is this literally meaning that he's hired the street department? Muncie didn't have a street department before Dan Ridenour?
Chris,
that is a load of crap.
I hear the statement. Let's see how many people these people's managed before. Dan's managed about 4 or 5 women in an office, okay?
Right.
Let me tell you this. I'm not a banker, but as a banker, if I was a banker, I wouldn't be paying cash for everything. They tell you not to pay cash for it. Finance it. Use your cash for investments, not to spend it all on one project. If you can finance it, finance it. Dan's not that way. Dan's not a banker. He spends all cash that he has on hand, gives it out to people instead of financing stuff. And that's how we build. We got to be able to finance stuff to make the city grow. If you don't finance it and you spend all the cash in your pocket out on this, you can't redo stuff because you ain't got.
Now you're talking like a Democrat. I'm fine with saving some money, but
save it. That's fine. Don't blow all your cash on one item.
Right. Well, yeah, right. Yeah, Dan spends money as fast as it's like burns a hole in his pocket.
I got $4.5 million. I got a question. I'm voting for Ridenour because I will never vote for Jeff. You're ridiculous, Ryan. But anyhow,
I agree with Delaware. What with Dak? Wait, hold on. What was that? Dak. I agree with Dak. To me, it seems like a board solely created to make strong. Oh yeah. Dak is a very shady deal. I'm not.
I lost track there. I was gonna say something. What the hell was I gonna say? Holy shit. Anyhow.
Well, so no, that's fine. So the other aspect of that is so what's going on at Southway, the council needs to table. Going back to Ryan's point about lit. He said that we need to be discussing the fact that the council moving forward January 1st is going to raise lit. Man, I
not if I get on there, I won't.
I hope that's not the case. I know what I've heard from the people trying to get the endorsements and what they've promised. I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not the case.
Chris, with Firebase EMS, Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fire base EMS, they're making about $4 or $5 million a year. You take a little bit of that and give it to the firemen for a raise. Okay. If you give every fireman, it's 110 firemen, a raise out of that, that's only $550,000. Half a
Okay.
million dollars. Okay. That still leaves them $4 million to operate off.
Sure.
So, that's what
I'm
I
just saying
told
that
them.
the point. Well, I mean, that doesn't really help the police department, but
I understand.
I mean, all I'm saying is the point with that is, well, I guess where I was going with that is, I hope they don't raise lit, but it sounds like that they're going to do that. Where Ryan said, we need to work on find a way to stop that. The problem with that situation is, specifically if they raise it in January, February, March, if they raise it anywhere up to anywhere in that first year, by the time the election rolls back around, people will have long forgot that.
Right.
People will have long forgotten that, and it won't cost them. People have such short minds when it comes to local politics. It's so crazy to me. Nationally speaking, if somebody says something, they'll remember it for the rest of eternity. But
Right.
locally speaking, I feel like Dan could slap somebody in the face on Halloween and they would vote for him on the 7th of November. And I don't understand that.
And
I don't
here's the thing.
understand
With
people's...
the lit tax, people think that the city council has to raise it. It's not that way.
It's not that the city council has to raise it. It's that they have the majority. They can raise it without the county.
But here's the thing. If you take the county council
Hmm?
and Yorktown council
Mm-hmm.
and say they wanted a lit tax,
Mm-hmm.
then it only takes one member from the city council to raise that lit tax.
Right.
That's what a lot of people don't know.
Sure.
As long as, say it's a collective group of 100, we'll use that number, and they get enough people to raise that lit tax, it may only take one person off the city council to do it. So it's a collective. The city council can do it on their own, but it takes a collective member for them to do it where they're forced to do it that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what could happen is, if I'm elected to city council and we vote it down to raise the lit tax because I didn't get the $500 from the fire department because I told them I wasn't going to raise the lit tax. It'd be the last thing I did was raise the lit tax. If we vote it down, then the Yorktown and Eaton and all these counties get with the county council and then get one person on the city council to vote for it, and they'll have a collective bargaining of enough people that that it passes. So maybe I'm educating people too much on it. I don't know.
No, I mean it's important for people to know that. I don't know
Because I don't want it to come back and say once I get on council, well, you raised the lit tax. No, I'm not going to. I'm not.
Well, I mean, your vote will speak for itself there, whatever your vote is. If you
But
vote
when it
for
comes
it, you
up
vote
and
it, or...
they do it the other way, then I want people to know that I voted against it.
Right. Well,
That's the reason I didn't get $500 in the Muncie Fire Department's endorsement. Union's
Oh, yeah,
endorsement.
right. Yeah. Right. I think yeah, as Kate said, they sold the taxpayers for an endorsement, basically.
Yes.
Quit dancing around that. That's absolutely what they've done here.
And I'm here right now on your show asking these candidates that received that $500 endorsement to give the money back, because there's too many people out there that feel like you've been bought and paid for just for $500.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
sure.
have to back the fire department.
Right. Well,
and don't get me wrong, I back the fire department, but I'm not accepting an endorsement from them
to raise the tax.
to raise that tax. I wouldn't have done it if I did endorse. That's the reason they didn't give me the endorsement, because I
Right.
told them straight up in the interview I would not raise the lit tax. That's the reason I didn't get the endorsement.
So
pennies on the dollar. That's the way it works, Kate.
what?
Nothing. I'm reading something over here on the side.
Oh. So,
and I want to get this clear too. This has been weighing on my mind for since you started your interviews, and I'm gonna just come out and say it. Andrew Pop was dead set against fire-based EMS.
okay.
I want people to understand that he was
That's
dead
true.
set against fire-based EMS.
Yes.
100% dead set against it. You can go back and look
Yes.
at council meetings from 2019 and see. He was
That
dead
is
set
true.
against it.
He was. I mean, he was.
And I want people to remember that.
Good night, Alva. That is true. There were a lot of people. I was originally against fire-based EMS, and then I looked at I was against fire-based EMS because of who was putting it forward and how it was being put forward. And then Eddie Bell and Rachel Clark said, Eddie Bell had Rachel Clark reach out to me. Rachel Clark reached out and said, hate it, hate fire-based EMS, hate the administration, hate all of us. Look, I'm not even want to give you numbers. I want to point you into a direction where to look, and then you research it on your own. And I did, and I took time, and that was the last time I think I went to Texas. I didn't go. I thought I went to Florida. And while we were going down to Texas,
in Dallas. That's when you was in Dallas at the book depository.
Yeah.
Coming around the curve, it fucking hit you. I don't know why, but it hit you.
Yeah, it did. It's when I was going through the Big D and
it hit you like a shot in the head.
Yeah, right, it did. Bang, I like a shot in the head.
And I want people to know that I was never against it or for it when it first started, because I always told people I want to do the research on it first. I want to find out what's going on with it.
Yeah.
And when I went to EMS, Delaware County EMS, and heard the infighting going on, that's when I knew something was up.
Oh, yeah, they were playing so much weird ass sneaky games. It was so bizarre. It was so bizarre. I did my own research. I shut basically everything she said out, and I did my own research. I contacted places between here and Texas that had fire departments and had city ran fire departments, had city ran fire EMS. I talked to places that did away with their EMS service, and any place I talked to that had done away with their fire ran EMS wished they would have not did that.
Yep.
And all of this different stuff. And then I finally sat down and I looked at the end of my research. I sat down and I looked at Rachel's research, and I talked to Eddie Bell, and that's when I became, real good friends with Eddie and did all of that. And I was a believer, and then so much crazy stuff. And, politically speaking, so often in politics,
That's
so
the truth,
often,
Charlize. That's what happened.
Yeah. So often in politics, it's not a yes or no, white or black answer. It's a perception of what's going on. But I openly said, and I know where I was I was sitting in the driveway of my aunt's house, typing on my phone, and I was responding to somebody, and I said, this is a situation where this is not a perception issue. This is an issue of One side is telling.
Did he freeze? Am I froze? Kate? Am I froze too? There he is.
Going. What?
You're freezing.
When I think just you saw that. Am I getting in there? At the end of the day, one side is going to say A, one side is going to say B. And when all of the dust settles, one side will be right and one side will be wrong. One side will have told the truth and one side will have been lying. And that was the only way that it was going to be. It wasn't a lot of situations. Both sides can be a little right and both sides can be a little wrong. This was not one of those situations. One side was going to be right and one side was going to be wrong. And that's the only way there was. It was either going to be Dennis and Eddie and Rachel and Firebase EMS was going to be a joke and it was going to be a flop and Delaware County would be right, or Delaware County was going to be a flop because they didn't want to lose the income and the money and all of that. And at the end of the day, Eddie Bell was right. You can hate Eddie Bell. You cannot like him because he's a Democrat. You cannot like him because he's friends with Dennis Tyler. Whatever you want to say. First of all, there's nobody that knows Eddie Bell that doesn't like Eddie Bell. Eddie Bell is just a very likable person. He's very well liked. He's very well respected. You can hate him just because he's a Democrat, I guess, or because he's black or whatever your deal is with him. I like Eddie. I respect Eddie. Eddie was the first black fire chief in Muncie. He is an awesome guy. He's a thinker. There's a lot of
soft-spoken.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very soft-spoken.
Absolutely.
To the point where you can't hardly hear him at times.
I was like, what? Let's speak of there. But I love Eddie. And he was right. He was 100% right in Firebase EMS. Dennis was right in Firebase EMS. It is, and everybody uses this cheating scandal to say, oh, look, we should have done. It's got nothing to do with that. The fireman was doing all that bull crap back beforehand. If you want to know the truth behind it, police do the same thing. Everybody does that. Everybody does that thing where they give answers to each other. It's just because no one wants to do that. That's not the fun and exciting part of public safety. Doing school tests for crap isn't where it's at. You know what I mean? So that's just something that happens. Also, attorneys do it. Doctors do it. Everybody in any kind of field does that. You know what I mean?
Annie, I'll say I'm not gonna vote to raise the lit tax. There's other ways of getting that money to the firemen. You got $4.5 million coming in. From Firebase EMS every year. You know, we can use that money. We can use some of that money, save some of it for the equipment and stuff, but still yet, like I said,
wait,
raise it a little bit.
Does anybody else remember who else was against Firebase EMS? I do. I do.
I gotta get my glasses. You can say if you want.
Okay, I'm not gonna say it. I'm just gonna put it up. She who shall not be named was the absolute devil about Firebase EMS. Did all sorts of crazy insanity. Darla, I love that you remember that and put that up there. That's very true. She did everything she could to fight it. It was ridiculous what she did to fight. Yeah.
We can get the money for the firemen and for the police department without raising the lit tax. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
The edit money's there. Take the $670,000 that we spent on the Delaware County Jail.
Yeah, right.
And use that money. Let the investors, let them people invest their own damn money instead of our money.
Right.
We got $500,000 sitting over here at the YMCA. That could have been used to give raises.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that simple.
Okay. So, my next, interviews, it looks like, I'm working on setting up an interview, this week, sometime hopefully early in the week with Rose Selvey.
She'll be your second Republican.
Should be the second Republican.
Okay. Good.
So Steve Craig is going to be coming on sometime. I don't have a solid tied down date yet, but it would be sometime this week. And Nick Talby's out of the country until the 10th or 11th. I've got to talk to him when he gets back. He's is a Republican. He's in like Poland or something. I don't know how running a campaign from Poland. I'm
leaving the country in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to Kentucky.
Yeah, right. That's I guess I don't know about what's going on there with that old
have you heard anything from the clerk's candidates?
I have not sent. I need to on Monday. I'm going to send out my formal interview. I've kind of been my invitation to the Republican clerk. I did send out. I will be interviewing with Norman into on Monday the 16th. Monday the 16th. So she's already scheduled. And so everyone else, I'm still waiting to either hear back from or whatever. And I just want to set out, just a quick, the way I feel is it just saves me time. It saves him time. It just saves all of us time. There is a quick disclaimer that I want to just say real quick. Mike Jones does not like me. I do not like him. He does not think that anyone should interview with me. We all hate each other. It is what it is. It gets so tiring. Yeah, right. It gets
I've known the man since I was 4 years old.
I'm sorry.
And he's got me blocked.
Yeah, right. Did you call him a liar?
Him a fucking liar.
You called him a liar?
Because I called him a liar.
If the shoe fits.
Well, here's the thing that happened. He put his hands on you at the courthouse.
Yeah, it's like he forgets it or something.
And he said, I didn't put my hands on him. I said, Mike Jones, you're a fucking liar. I just seen you do it.
Yeah, right.
And if he wants to be pissed off and block me for that, fuck you, Mike Jones.
Yeah, right.
Mike Jones.
I don't know. It's so crazy. It's like I've never understood that kind of lie. Like it would be one thing. I don't even know. I don't think Sarah Beach is not here. I could, if I told you all, if I all told you, hey, guess what? Sarah Beach slapped me today. You don't know if that's true or not. Because you don't know. You didn't see me today. You didn't see Sarah Beach. Correct. A lot of you don't even know who she is. So no one would know if that's true. If I came on, you'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe that. But if I literally if I went to somebody right now and said, hey, Philip Holbrook, if I go to Philip Holbrook tomorrow morning and say, hey, at 10:10 last night, Audie Barber, I was standing in Audie Barber's house and he punched me in the nose, Philip Holbrook would say, that's a bunch of crap. I was watching you on an interview. You were in two different places. No, that didn't happen. Or better yet, if I went to Philip Holbrook and said, hey, Philip Holbrook, I don't even know where you live. Hey, Philip, why did you hit me last night? He would be like, what are you talking? I've never understood telling a lie like that, because that is a lie that someone absolutely knows.
Ready?
There is no way. Yeah, right.
Here, jerk that head back. Ready?
Yeah, do it.
Bam.
Yeah.
If I was to hit you, you'd probably have a broken nose.
I just don't understand that kind of thing. Like, I could understand him being like, well, he deserved it, or it was not that hard, or it was, I just put my hand on his shoulder. That I could understand, but to say, no, I didn't do it. What do you mean?
Mike Jones, you're a fucking liar.
That
I told
is
you back there,
insane.
and I'll tell you again. Don't lie like that, buddy. I'm not that way.
I don't understand it. It's absolutely nuts. That's what she said.
And I can talk to Mike Jones tomorrow and not be a problem with it. Or I cannot. I don't give a shit either way.
Yeah, right.
He don't mean nothing to me. He's
it is.
He's a Democrat that thinks he's a Republican.
I don't get that.
He's a Democrat that thinks he's a Republican.
Yeah, I know.
President of the union for the UAW.
Yeah.
And for him thinking that he is a Democrat or a Republican now, he has no fucking clue what Democrat and Republicans are.
Dude's an idiot.
He jumps on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Whoever's in charge at the time, that's who he's with. Now, if the Colts, if the Colts have a bad season, I ride with the Colts. I'm still a Colts fan. Democrats have a bad season, I'm still a Democrat. I'm not going to jump party. I'm not going to change my team out because they're losing. It's not that way.
I don't know. I don't get it. So for any interviews in the future, we all get it. He don't like it. He don't want to watch it. Although I do have to give him credit.
Easy.
For the very first time.
Easy.
I know it blew my mind. For the very first time. And you know what? I even liked it. I got to be honest. I even liked the comment. For the very first time, he made a comment. It was on the comment on the interview with Brandon Garrett. He commented. It tagged me, and I thought, it notified me, and I thought, oh God, here he's done it again. It says, I am not acquainted with Brandon Garrett. I've heard some friends of mine say he's a good person, but I've heard great things about Nick Talby as well. That's just one problem I have so far. And I thought, okay.
But he don't vote.
Mike, huh?
But he can't vote in the city of Muncie.
He doesn't even vote in the city limits. So it don't matter. Shut up. But I don't have a problem with that because that was okay. It wasn't him coming on and being a complete asshole. It wasn't him being I can like that. I can respect that.
Mike Jones, if you're listening, you cannot vote in the city election, buddy.
But I'm okay with his commentary. I don't care. I'm okay. If he wants to get on and engage in something that means something, then that makes sense.
Right.
But just to get on, Troy Tackett, I saw these people that all they do is they attack me for having a thought, or they do something. All this chaos. Troy Tackett gets on. So there's someone named Joan something. She gets on last night and she comments to the Ridenour administration and she says, can you guys please let us understand what you're doing at Prairie Creek? You guys keep saying you're growing this wildlife preserve for butterfly gardens, but it keeps growing beyond the bounds of where you guys said, and it looks like you guys are just not doing the right thing. And that's a legitimate question. Troy Tackett got on and said, oh, careful, she's getting ready to have a coronary. And I was like,
that administration at Prairie Creek, that's Joanne Hammond.
Yeah.
They're the one she was one that got threw out of the Prairie Creek Reservoir. They made her move her camper and then did not renew her contract.
Didn't renew the contract, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. So, but I'm okay with her having an opinion.
She can do that. That's exactly right.
These people get on there and it's people, because people say, well, why would you talk about Troy Tackett? And it's I get it. Troy Tackett's of no consequence, but it's the thought that they have. Troy literally told me yesterday, I don't have a problem with what you say or do. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
The problem I have is Dennis Tyler was convicted of something. So that's why we can say what we say.
Right.
Ridenour's not been convicted of anything. So until you have proof, shut up and move along. Focus on Sheriff Sproles. That's what he said. And I said, no. Wait a minute. That's not how this works. It's not who's found guilty or not guilty.
Sorry.
What? I was like, what is it? Oh, you
get
a phone call? Yeah.
Well, I said,
it's not that it's who's found guilty of criminal stuff. You can have someone in and they cannot be criminals and you can still not agree with what they're doing in office. So it's like, that doesn't mean anything. I don't have to wait until there's lots of people that get unelected who don't go to prison.
Right.
If you don't agree, if someone runs and says, I'm going to do A, B, and C, and they don't do A, B, and C, you should have a right to call them out. And for those, it doesn't matter who it is. You could say troll number 1 or troll A or whoever. You don't have to name them. But for these trolls to get on and say, well, he's not been to prison. Well, I'm sorry, but if that's the standard that we're carrying, I'm sorry. Ridenour ran on these things, improving communication.
Niles just made a very good point, though.
Yep.
He has not been indicted or convicted of a crime. He hasn't been to jail. And then Niles hit the nail on the head. But the day is still young.
Yes. Well, yeah. He could always be any number of those things. We've still got 3 months.
Hey, Chris, here's what I got a problem with.
Yeah.
Dan Ridenour posted that. It come up on my Facebook. And I had put something on that post. And it looks like it's been removed.
What?
Can you see on that advertisement for Dan that you just had up there?
Yeah.
If they took my post that I posted on there off?
Wait a minute. Where are you talking?
The one that you had about the because my comments, it looks like they have been removed.
Was it on the Mayor Dan Ridenour for Mayor page?
No, it was on that. Yes, it was on that post that you had there just a few minutes ago. Dan Ridenour paving Muncie roads.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
The comment has, from what
where did you find it? Is what I'm asking you. On his official mayor page.
It came up on my news feed, so I don't know if it went to there.
I don't know where it's at because someone sent it to me.
But you should still be able to open that up.
I had a picture of it, man. You don't understand what I'm saying. I wasn't looking at it online.
Right.
Someone sent me a picture of it.
But I just seen it.
So I didn't have I'm not finding it on his candidates page.
I'm not either.
I'm not finding the whole picture is what I'm saying.
Well, it's on Dan Ridenour for Muncie Mayor.
Well, that's where I'm at. I'm not seeing it. Profile.
My comment has been removed.
Cover or did you need to select all?
Well, let me go back here and see.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing that. I don't know where that page is at because I'm not seeing that at all.
Yeah. I'll have to do some research on it because if he took my comment off there, that's a problem. Or if his people took my comment off there.
Okay, hold on. It's a sponsored ad, so I don't know how to find that. Dan Ridenour for Mayor of Muncie sponsored ads. Let's try to find it here. Dan Ridenour sponsored ads. About more mentions. Where's the sponsored ads at? Shouldn't you be able to see the sponsored ads? Oh, right here. I found it.
Yep. Because it was right after Yolanda Carey's. Well, we've paid 82% more roads than his last 3 years.
Oh, so no, you shared it. You probably shared it, a comment on someone's post of it.
No, because I thought it was an ad that come up through Facebook. I don't know. I'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it's at. What in the hell do you keep playing music for?
I'm just going through my contacts and stuff.
And it just randomly plays music?
Well, some of my contacts have movie music in them. I'm obsessive compulsive. If I got blue on my comments and stuff in my response area, my notifications, I have to open them all.
While you're live on a show?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good.
Keep it real, right?
I guess keep it real. Well, so let's see here.
I'm trying to get my political page up this week to run some ads and stuff. It's all coming to a head. It'll be here in about a month, a little over a month.
37 days. Yeah. 1 month and 7 days.
I'll be 1 year older before then, but
You won't be 1 year older before a month. You'll just be
1 year
You'll
older.
be 1 month and 7 days.
I'll be a year older.
I always think that's weird how people say that.
Well, it's the truth.
You won't actually be a year older until next year.
No.
Your number will increase by...
My number will increase. That means I'm a year older.
Oh, God. Okay, so...
My year starts from October 10th to October 9th.
What?
My year starts from October 10th to October 9th. So on October 9th, I will become after October 9th, I'll become 1 year older. That's my fiscal body year.
That's hilarious. Okay, so just briefly quick here. The remainder of the council then, so the public hearing will be tomorrow at 6:45. We will live stream that right here, so you guys will be able to watch it from my channel.
Chris, what's going on at 6 o'clock?
Nothing's going on at 6 o'clock.
Something's going on at 6 o'clock tomorrow.
Well, nothing that I know about.
I was told by a councilman that something's going to happen at 6 o'clock tomorrow. That meeting's supposed to start at 6 o'clock, I think.
Troy, are you still here?
Let me text him real quick.
I don't know that there's anything about. Hit the like button, everybody. Yeah, not separated from. Basically, what will happen is at 6:45, they will open the meeting. They will open the public hearing. They will open the gavel. They will close the gavel meeting. And then they will, at 7 o'clock or whatever time, then they will open the public meeting.
The council meeting.
The council meeting. So the public hearing will be opened at 6:45. However long it goes, it will then be closed. There will be a recess in between. And then at some point, the regular meeting will then be opened.
And I want to go back to that a little bit, Chris. If you look back in the history in the last 4 years,
yeah,
Aaron Clark has brought up one ordinance. I think he's brought up maybe one resolution besides this one. And I think it had something to do with the solar farm, maybe. Don't quote me on that. I know he's brought one ordinance, and that was the chicken ordinance back almost 4 years ago.
Chicken ordinance, yeah.
Yeah, the chicken ordinance. That's the only ordinance that man has brought up. I think this is probably maybe the second resolution he's maybe brought up. I don't know that 100%. But it's got to do with his cousin. And that's where the problem is. That's the gray area, the part that don't look good. It may be legit and everything, but it still does not look good when he's not brought very many ordinances up. He's brought one ordinance up in 4 years. 4 years.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
The only thing he brings up is something that's going to benefit his family.
Yeah.
His cousin's business.
Well, it's the weird thing about this is, briefly, the public hearing was also advertised longer than 48 hours, but yes, it has to be published 48 hours in advance. But this one definitely was. It's been published since the 25th.
Stumblefoot, he's been a lame chicken since he's been in there. Since his chicken.
A lame chicken.
Since his chicken ordinance.
Hey, Stumblefoot. Oh, see, your problem there, dude, is you said legal chickens. Chickens aren't illegal. Chickens are just birds. Go get yourself some chickens. if you want some chickens. Go get you some chickens. Don't let the city of Muncie tell you what to do. Hey, I am letting you know, folks, listeners, friends, fans, followers, whatever, drink your Kool-Aid before you leave.
Flavor Aid. It's not Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
It's Flavor Aid.
I am going to the Board of Works meeting this Wednesday, and I am going to bring it to them.
Linda, listen.
I am still so outraged. I just watched that meeting again and was so outraged at what they did to that kid the other day. I think
crazy.
It's what?
Those people on that board are crazy.
I think it's sick what the chief of police did. I think the chief of police was extremely rude and out of control. I think that what he was like, oh, well, he acts so like just so rude when he first got up to speak. I thought that was ridiculous. I think everything that he did was ridiculous. And I just hate that he was that way. I hate that the Board of Works was that way. And I'm going to use Yoko's comments. I'm going to use a lot of your comments to fight them on that. But yes. I also did request, I do have the records request in for the data that Brandon and I spoke about last night. So I have a records request into the city of Muncie for that. I have a records request in trying to find out if she who shall not be named's son was fired from the police department or not. I don't know what's going on. I keep getting conflicting stories about that. So we're going to find out. We got some record requests coming from the city of Muncie. I also want to let you guys know, for the people that are here, and the cell phone tracking stuff. Yeah. I also want to let you guys know that are here that might be here from Newcastle or Henry County. I've not given up on Old Sproles. We're just kind of in a waiting period until I get some stuff back in from them. And,
Chris, hey, that's what I've always got a problem with. Why do these people, once they get elected, think they are fucking God?
I don't understand that, man. It's so weird.
They're above the law. They think they can do what they want when they want to do it and not have no recourse for it.
Yeah.
Audie,
so weird.
That statement is why I love you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wait, he's going to do the exact same thing.
No, I'm not either.
He's going to do the exact same thing. He's going to do the same thing.
No.
Audie is going to do the same thing.
Nope. There's rules and regulations you got to follow.
See, the difference is that Audie knows that you will be right up his ass.
They all know it.
Yes.
Chris.
Audie actually likes you. And therein lies the difference. And that, I think his wife would probably kill him if he tried any hokey shit.
Well, I don't believe in being two-faced. I'm not going to do something and then tell you I'm going to do something and tell you I'm going to do something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's too much information for me.
Yeah.
And that's one of them things. The voters voted him in knowing that he was only a police officer for 2 years. What the
Yeah, that's so stupid. That is so stupid. It kills me. And they're going to do that with that same dumbass that's running for mayor down there against York. I heard that the AFSCME down there voted in a very weird and secret vote to support Clay Morgan over Greg York.
That's crazy.
I heard that the police might be getting ready to do it too. And
York's a hell of a mayor.
Yeah.
He's not in his office. You can't reach him at his office, but you can go to them job sites and find him.
Well, he's out in his city doing stuff, taking care of stuff and
on
doing work. Yeah. And I can just say that listen, just viewers that are not from Henry County, just letting you know, you'll all be watching this. You're watching the period right now where I'm telling them that if they elect Clay Morgan over Greg York, we will be dealing with a Sproles-like character in a mayor position of the city of Newcastle come next year, and it'll be a big problem, and we'll have all sorts of issues, and it'll be fun to watch, and we'll tear him apart too because of all the nonsense.
Hey, Chris, Remember a couple years ago when I was complaining about the manhole and the small amount of pipe and stuff they was putting in on 8th Street?
Yeah, yeah.
You remember the price of that?
If you said it, I would might.
It was about $160,000,
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that, which should have been bid out.
yeah.
Let me tell you what's getting ready to happen this week.
What?
There's a sewer that runs from a big sewer on Liberty Street, okay?
Okay.
About 7 years ago, I was in that sewer. Maybe 8.5 years ago, I was in that sewer.
Okay.
It is
Living?
a nasty, nasty mess. When I say I was in it, I was in it.
Okay.
We had the road dug up, the soil's shitty, the hole stayed wet, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
MSD is getting ready to do it in-house. And anything over a certain amount of money is supposed to be bid out. Knowing that they put a new manhole in over here and spent $148,000 or whatever it was on it. They're doing a whole bunch of pipe from 7th Street to 6th Street to 7th Street. And they're going to be about 14 to 16 feet deep. And it's going to cost a whole lot more than $150,000 to $200,000 to do that job, but they're doing it in-house, which it's supposed to be bid out and bid to the contractors and turned out for bid and have 3 bids on it before they ever start it. Since they're doing it in-house, it's going to be a whole lot cheaper than to put one manhole in down here on 8th Street. Why is that?
What? So how do you know that's happening? Why do you think that's happening?
A little birdie told me.
Okay.
I know it's happening.
The City of Muncie is doing it?
Muncie Sanitation District, MSD.
Okay, Muncie Sanitary District. Muncie
Sanitary,
Sanitation District.
Sanitary District, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The people that take care of the shit water.
Yeah.
No, stumble, it's not made out of red brick. I think it's a manhole because I had to cut into it and attach a pipe to it. But they're going to come out of the same manhole that we was in a few years ago, and they're going to go north.
Are they
south.
capable of doing this in-house?
I don't know. I would say they have to rent a bigger excavator because the one they've got's not big enough. 14 to 16 feet deep, you get down in there in the city of Muncie, you hit about 14 foot deep, and it turns to sugar.
It won't be the Muncie Street Department doing this. It'll be the Sanitary District.
Correct.
So I would say they would be a little bit more trained, but probably not much.
They've done it for years, but never been that deep that I know of. Maybe they have, but and I'm not saying they're not capable of doing it.
Yeah.
But when you get in there and you're spending more than what the state says you can spend without bidding it out, once again, you're going against the rules.
Yeah.
State says if it's anything over, whatever it is, is it 150, 200,000? You have to bid it out.
You see that about Harvey, right?
I don't think Harvey's in charge of it.
Huh.
He may be, I don't know. But but they are going to start that. Supposed to start it in the morning. And going back to, I tried to get the totals on the Madison Street project and the roundabout, and I tried to get them on Wheeling. And the only thing the city engineer would give me was the cost of the hauling the materials in and out and the materials. He would not give me a breakdown of the hours, man hours they used, the machine hours that they have to bill for that in order to show that it's under the max, under the minimum for it to be bid out. So they're doing this stuff shady, not giving me the information I'm wanting and saying we don't break it down that way because these guys are hourly employees. It don't work that way. They have to break that down per man hour, how much labor, how much equipment, so on.
Doesn't state law say they have to do that?
They sure do.
Doesn't the state law within their what their businesses say that?
Yes. And then I get this paper that says, oh, this is how much we spent on this and this is how much we spent on that. And then the engineer, Adam, he says, I don't have to give you that. We don't do it that way. Bullshit.
I don't think that Adam knows his sewer from a hole in the ground.
And he don't. You know, he don't.
Yeah.
If you follow his Wikipedia page or whatever they call it.
His Wikipedia page.
Whatever it is, through the internet. You go through the internet and you find his jobs he's had. He worked for a town here for 6 months. He labored here for 6 months. LinkedIn, yeah, whatever it is. He worked here for 6 months. He worked there for 3 months. He did this for 6 months. He's never been on a job very consistent to have any knowledge about what's going on.
Well, we'll have to watch all of that. That's interesting.
So
that's interesting. We'll have to watch that.
Debbie, you're right. The State Board of Accounts would require a breakdown of the costs, but he wouldn't give them to me. I asked for it on public record, and he said, we don't do that. So that's where I'm at on that.
Yeah. What's this, Annie? What do you mean? Thank you for your service. You mean if he wins? Hey, did you hear that the City of Muncie this year, they are not budgeting any, they're not budgeting for any,
Chris, I talked to a pretty reliable source on that unemployment tax.
Yeah.
And the last administration didn't either. It's just whenever it's time to pay it, they pay it.
Okay.
Out of the fund. They'll just have to go back to council and get a
appropriation
for it.
Okay.
Since they're self-insured and stuff. So
okay.
That's the way it was explained to me.
Well, I just like, what are you doing with the microphone? I just thought it was interesting what Craig said. Craig said, no, we don't expect any turnover.
Yeah.
I thought, well, damn, that was pretty cool. Yeah, he is.
Hey guys, if you're Democrat or Republican, you need to get out and vote. Early voting is going to be starting soon. Don't be afraid to vote across your party line. If you think you're a diehard Democrat, vote diehard Democrat. If you think you're a diehard Republican, vote diehard Democrat. We've got to have a change in this city because it's not going to get, if we have 4 more years of this, we're not going to have any roads left. And roads ain't no big deal.
Yeah.
Roads ain't no big deal. That's not public safety. Bullshit. Take a 100,000-pound fire truck out here and hit a fucking pothole or something, see where it takes you. So, you know, it is a big deal. Roads are very important. It is public safety. And, you know, we got to have a change. If you don't like it, we can change it again in 4 years.
Yeah.
That's a good thing about voting.
Another 4.
Yeah. You can always change it in 4 years. Give the new guys a chance. Because we see what the old guys have done.
Yeah.
Now we're not saying, oh, wait, Dan just got into this. This is new.
Yeah, right.
This is new to Dan. I'd like to see, I think Lindsay Corey Boy Fink the other day said something. Well, I asked a question in the forum meeting with the mayors and they didn't ask it, but I'd like to see how many people Jeff Robinson has managed. I'd like to see how many people Dan Ridenour has managed.
What does that got to do with anything? Politics.
That's just one of her statements. It's crazy. We're all adults here. We got department heads. Put your department heads in there. Make the department heads responsible for what's going on. And they've got to answer to the mayor. And the mayor has to make sure that his department heads are taking care of the people below him.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. You don't have to manage all 600 people. You let the department heads manage them. And then the buck stops with the mayor. Like Dan has said so many times, the buck will stop with me. I'm the mayor. I'll be the mayor. If I'm the mayor, the buck stops with me. How many times have you heard him say that, Chris?
Absolutely. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Quote from the roads department.
Right, Joe? Roads are very important.
All right. Well, we can wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow is a Muncie City Council meeting. Meeting starts at 7 p.m. sharp on the dot. The public hearing starts at 6:45. So now that I've said that, just depending on how long people are there, the meeting might not start at 7:45 or 7 p.m. So I don't know what starts at 6 p.m. You might be talking about some kind of party caucus. It might be the Democrats are caucusing or the Republicans are caucusing. I don't know. That might happen. But as far as the public is concerned, the public hearing is at 6:45. I would get there at 6:30, 6:40.
What Debbie
6:40.
What Debbie say? Debbie said at Mutual Bank.
Right now, or was elected mayor, he didn't manage anyone, so he didn't manage anyone before he was mayor. He was the he did something where he was over the district's the district loan officer or whatever for like the district or whatever. I don't know. I will tell you that there have been several females that have came forward and said that he was very not
Male chauvinist?
No, yeah, I guess that's not like sexual. I'm not trying to say that, but he would act like women couldn't do things. He would be very condescending to women.
I've heard that about some of his administration.
Yeah,
from some of the former administration.
Yeah. I've been told, and I was told this back during the whole YMCA going to TUI thing. Several people reached out to me and said, I could not believe when I heard that he was going to be mayor. I could not believe it. I didn't know how he would be mayor with there being female people because he's not very good with females. He acts like only men can do it. And he just seemed very, very rude to female employees. Very misogynistic, I guess, was what it would be. But it kind of even goes above and beyond that. Just whatever. I think he's weird. I mean, I think the whole thing is weird. I don't know.
think he communicates very good with anybody.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a major introvert.
Unless you're on his donut.
What? Yeah, well, yeah.
Donut.
Chauvinistic tendencies, yeah. He's like Pence. He needs his mommy to be around whenever he's around women. Yeah, that could be.
Well, Pence always said, I keep my wife around. That way he don't.
Hey,
be that.
Listen to me though, man. There might be something to that. I don't know.
There might be.
I don't know.
It might be.
Meeting public hearing 6:45 tomorrow. We will live stream it all here for you. Be looking for that. That will be the Muncie City Council public hearing and meeting. That's tomorrow, Monday, October 2nd, 2023. It'll start at 6:45. It will be here. And then, of course, I will be live following that as close to 9 p.m. as possible to the half hour. And I say that because if the meeting goes longer than 9 and we get out at like 9:15, I will go live at 9:45, 1 half hour after we get out. So the half hour after, if it's after 9, if we get out before 9, I will go live at 9, but I will go as close to 9 as possible with a half hour of buffer between when we get out, because that's what it'll take me to get home. And Chris,
I'd love to do part 2 with you tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, we can talk about what happens. Yeah, because it's going to be big tomorrow. See what happens. So we can I can pull you on. We can talk about
once I get elected. I'll also, after the council meetings on Monday nights, would still be willing to come on here and discuss what happened at the council meeting with.
Oh yeah,
the-
yeah. I'm definitely I'm down
public.
for that. I'm down for that. We can definitely do that.
So this may
So-
be once a month Monday thing coming up here
Sure.
after January 1st, because I just feel that the voters, the public needs to be informed what's going
Well,
on.
everybody's always said stuff like that, like they could do it from their house or they could do whatever, and nobody's ever done something like that. So that would be a big thing, like a debrief.
I would be even willing to push you to be on your show, to be on Channel 60 even.
Oh
So
yeah,
more
that
people
would be able
so
to
more
see.
people
Yeah.
could get out and
They
see
ought
what's
to do
going on.
things like that, so more people know what's going on. That would be something.
Instead of running the same loop for years and years.
Years and years and years, they're still showing. Yeah, I don't know. That's a really weird thing going on.
I mean,
I don't know.
maybe make a resolution that, or come up with something.
They used to do public access television. There's no reason why they wouldn't do that.
And
So-
we could give you time, and then if Shireen Wagley wanted to do a show, she could do one on there.
Absolutely. That's hilarious.
I mean, I the more information you can get out to the public, the better off you are. And if it takes access in Channel 60, which is paid for by the taxpayers, then so be it.
Oh yeah. What they've done with Channel 60 is repulsive.
It is scary.
Stumblefoot asked if you should happen to not win, are you going to try again?
I'd have to give it a lot of thought.
Here's what I think. Because you've literally ran every year since you first ran.
Yeah.
I think what you need to do is, if you don't win, you need to not run in the county. You just need to concentrate on city. That's where you're known. That's where the your power is.
I agree.
So I think that you need to continue doing city focused stuff.
Yeah, exactly. If I would, it would be 4 years. It wouldn't be.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be right away.
Yeah.
Just depends on how people accept me going on with the new administration. I'm not going to stop. I don't care who's the mayor. If they're doing wrong, I'm going to call them out on it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Well, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what to do. Share the show with everyone you know. Help spread the word. Hit like if you haven't hit liked already. And just to end on
and Republicans, if you want to bullet vote for me, you can bullet vote for me.
So can Democrats, but nothing.
I said Republicans. If you
I know. I said so can Democrats, but yeah.
So can Democrats, yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's it.
Because I guess they're just bullet voting for the mayor. They'll bullet vote for each district.
Right.
And also, I need some people to work the polls. Then,
good Lord,
that's with 2 L's, not L-E. I had a spell check come up the other day, and it said P-O-L-E. And Diane from Alaska said, "Wow, I don't know if I'm limber enough to work the polls." I thought, what the hell is she talking about? And then I got to thinking, that spell check evidently changed that. Instead of P-O-L-L, it was P-O-L-E. So I need some people to work the polls for me November 7th. Don't have much money to pay you. So, but if you want to come out and work the polls, let me know.
We'll figure that out. Yeah, we'll keep having you on between now and then, with all the rest of the people.
And I don't know if that at-large candidate Audie Barber is ever going to come on your show or not, but he might.
You've already been on.
And I'll continue coming on.
All right. Yeah, very good. Well, all right. Yeah, we'll have you on. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
See you, Chris.
Thank you, Audie. Yep. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been the show. There was Audie Barber. You know him. You love him. I should have had his little character thing on tonight. So, all right, folks, listen, I'm not against the postscript for tonight I'm not against the fire department thing. I just think that we shouldn't be saddling. It doesn't matter what it is. It's this or anything. And I wouldn't, it doesn't matter if it's Dennis Tyler or if it's Dan Cannon or it's Dan Ridenour or it's Robinson or it's whoever it is in the future. I am never going to like them trying to saddle the next administration with their crazy big plans at the very end of the term. We've got just a few more weeks, few more months. Just wait until we figure out what's going on, and then we can work on, your thing. If you're reelected, then we'll focus on that then. It's just common sense. It's stupid what he's doing. So that's that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the 42nd episode of the Political Spotlight, where our holes are always wet and our sewers are always nasty. You guys have a great evening. Take care. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. What's happening? Hold on. Oh, man, that was going to be so great. That editing. Push the button!